Hello class, welcome to Algebra Lesson 2.2, which is all about point-slope form. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to write and graph linear equations in point-slope form. So let's quickly review. Yesterday we talked about slope-intercept form, which was our y equals mx plus b. Now today, we are going to talk about point-slope form. So our point-slope form is y minus y1 equals m times the quantity of x minus x1. And this is something that you're definitely going to want to memorize, just like you are going to want to memorize that slope-intercept form. When we get to the test, I am not going to give this information to you. I'm going to expect you to know what point-slope form is. Okay, so this would be a good thing to jot down in your notes right now. Let's talk about how to write an equation in point-slope form. So again, our point-slope form is y minus y1 equals m, not sure why it's changing colors, equals m times x minus x1. All right. Now, in this equation, notice that we have a regular y. It doesn't have any number with it. It's that very first y. That will always just remain y. Then, notice that we have a y1. That y1, just like the x1, represents our point. So this is x1, y1. So I'm going to say y minus my y1 value is 1 equals m. We know m is 3/4 because it was given to us. And then x, the first x doesn't have any number with it. It just stays x. Minus, and then our x1 value is a positive 5. So I'm going to say x minus 5. And that is all I have to do in order to write this, translate this information into a point-slope equation. Okay, so y minus y1 equals m times the quantity of x minus x1. And you just replace that y1 and x1 and the m with the given information. Why don't you go ahead and try solving this one on your own? Good luck. All right, for an answer, hopefully you got y minus 4 equals 7/11 times the quantity of x plus 1. Now, if you were someone that got x minus 1 inside those parentheses, what you did was you just copied down the number. But remember, it's not x minus 1, it's x minus a negative 1. And anytime you have minus a negative, it becomes plus. So that's how I got the x plus 1 inside the parentheses. All right, let's look at example 2, which is all about graphing equations from point-slope form. Yesterday we learned how to graph from slope-intercept form, and we would start by plotting a point at our y-intercept and then using the slope to find the next one. Now, instead of starting at the y-intercept, we're going to start at the given point. So you may be looking at the screen saying, but Ms. Johnson, we don't have a point listed. Well, we do. It's just not listed in the way that you're used to. Okay, so remember our equation's y minus y1 and then x minus x1. So that means here I have y minus, my y value for the point is 3. And then my x value, since it's a plus, I know that my x has to be negative, because in order to get that plus, I need minus a negative, and then it's 1. Okay, so you're able to look at the equation and pull out the point. That is your first step, okay? Find that point, and then plot that point. So negative 1, 3 would be a point right here. Our step 2 is to use the slope. Okay, so I have negative 2/3. I'm just going to put the negative with the 2. If you want to put the negative with the 3 instead and keep it a positive 2, that's fine. So negative 2 means that I'm going to go down 2, and then a positive 3 means I'm going to go to the right 3 units. So I started that first point I plotted, and I'm going to go down 2, 1, 2, and then I'm going to go right 3, 1, 2, 3. Down 2, right 3, down 2, right 3. If you were someone that did the positive 2, negative 3, that means you're going to go up 2, left 3. So I could go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And then I just need to connect those points to get my line. Again, you don't need to do as many points as what I am doing. I am doing that just to help you practice slope a little bit more. But that's how you would graph from a point-slope form. You figure out what the point is, and then from that point you use your slope to find the next point. Why don't you take a minute and try to graph this equation on your own? Good luck. All right, hopefully for this graph, you got your first point was at a positive 3, negative 2, and then from there, you used your positive slope of 1/2 to find the next point. Okay? If you have questions about that, please don't hesitate to reach out for some help. I'm happy to help you. Let's talk about example 3. What if I give you a graph and I ask you, can you write an equation for this graph? So in order to write it in point-slope form, because again, that's what we're going to keep using right now, if I want to write it from point-slope form, what I'm going to do is I need to figure out what my slope is, and I also need to figure out what my point is. Okay? So let's figure out slope first. If I go from the left point to the right point, I go down 2, and then I go positive 2. So negative 2 over 2, which equals a negative 1. And then my point. You have a couple of options here. You can either use the far left point, which is negative 1, 2, 3, 4, positive 1, or you could say negative 2, negative 1. Okay, so you have two different options that you can use for this equation. If you use the first one, you're going to have y minus 1, because y minus y1 equals negative 1. If you want to put the 1, you can. If you don't want to put the 1, that's also fine. I'm going to do it just to help you visualize and remember that there is a slope there, negative 1. And then x minus a negative 4 becomes x plus 4. So this is one possible answer. A second possible answer, I could say y minus a negative 1 becomes y plus 1 equals negative 1. And x minus a negative 2 becomes x plus 2. This is the second possible answer that you could use given the 2 points that you were given. Okay, so both of those are correct. Both of those would give you the graph of the same line. So it's easy for you to have a couple of different answers. Your answer might vary from your neighbor's, and that doesn't mean that either of you are wrong. It just means that there are multiple ways to write this. Like I said, you don't have to include that 1 outside of the parentheses. You could just have it as a negative right outside of the parentheses. Whatever you prefer, both are acceptable. Why don't you look at this graph and find an equation for the line? I'll give you 2 possible answers once I reveal the answer, but you just need to list one equation in point-slope form. Good luck. Okay, for your answer, hopefully you arrived at one of these solutions. You either said y plus 3 equals 1/2 times the quantity of x plus 1, or you said y plus 4 equals 1/2 times the quantity of x minus 1. Those are both acceptable answers. All right, now let's do our last example type, which is writing equations from 2 points. So this is going to be really similar to what we've already been doing, except we are going to need to find the slope first. So remember, we need to solve for slope. That's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so if I do that, I'm going to take negative 7 minus a negative 19 over negative 2 minus 1. So that becomes a 12 over a negative 3, where my slope is negative 4. All right, now I have my slope. I need to write my equation. And there are 2 different possible answers. I can either say y minus a negative 19, equals -4, that's my m, times x minus 1, and that would be one answer. A second answer you could have is y minus a -7 equals -4, x minus a -2. These are both correct solutions for equations for these 2 points. Why don't you go ahead and write an equation from these 2 points? Good luck. All right, hopefully you arrived at one of these 2 answers. Either you said y plus 4 equals -7 times the quantity of x plus 9, or you said y minus 10 equals -7 times the quantity of x plus 11. If you did not get either of those answers and you're still confused, please don't hesitate to ask some friends for help or come see me. I'm more than happy to help you. And here is the final just kind of summary for this lesson. Try to shrink it so it's a little easier to see on the screen. But this is your point slope form, and like I said at the beginning of the video, make sure you memorize how to use this form. Students frequently mix up point slope and slope intercept, and tomorrow I'm going to teach yet another type of equation for you to memorize. So you want to practice with using these different forms, okay? And make sure you know what form is what. As always, if you have any questions, let me know. Happy to assist you, and have a great day.